Welcome back to the Culture Crusade. And oh boy, it's Litdev, do you feel the fallout in the air?
I feel the world is healing.
The world is healing.
All the people who said they called you like Hitler and Nazi, all the people who decided to chastise you for being bad people who are different than I am, are just getting all the comeuppance. So everything, all the skeletons are coming, not just coming out of the closet, like dancing out of the closet.
Like, oh my gosh! Now, in terms of if Chad, if you're wondering what I'm referring to, do I feel the fallout? Some internet nukes have gone off recently, and I think calling them like nukes is a bit overblown. But still, seeing some true dirtbags get exposed more, to more people is very satisfying. But none of the with Destiny, some of that is news. But that guy has been a top tier A-grade scumbag for years. I've got some clips to show. This guy has openly called for genocide of conservatives, and that's not an understatement. He's done it multiple times, right? And when he celebrated, he didn't say he was sorry for the death of Corey Comparator, which is that poor father that got shot in the crossfire during the Trump assassination attempt, right?
So he deserved it,
man. Gosh,
he deserved it because he was there.
He deserved it because he was there. That's what Destiny said, right? So those comments alone was more than enough to me. He's like, oh, this guy is a near irredeemable scumbag. And I say irredeemable because he has no remorse at all. Maybe if he went on a really long, redemption arc, I believe
at least 600
many
pages.
people. Sorry, what?
At least 600 pages.
How many pages? Oh, I'm tired.
At least a redemption arc of 600 pages or so to make a whole entire novel.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, right? Because, I think, redemption is possible through the grace of Christ for many people. But when they're completely unrepentant a-holes like this, it's like, holy crap. I will have, you have none of my time apart from talking about and exposing you when you're such a true scumbag like this. But every single opinion that guy would ever give is just completely disregarded because of the insane hypocrisy that has come out of his mouth and the unbelievable evil he has spouted. And that's only like scratching the surface. So many more allegations, some that is basically admitted to as well, have dropped about Destiny. It's wild how much of an unbelievable scumbag this guy is. And so that's all been coming out over this last week. And then we come to Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker!
Hasan Piker! I'm going to come to your house.
Wear your dresses and stuff or whatever. Steal his dildos or whatever he has.
If you find that clip of what's his name? Sam
Hyde. I do have the clip of Destiny. I do have the clip of Destiny's son shooting Destiny. I do have that clip.
Do you? But when Sam was, playing a kind of a character as a wrestler, and he called out to Hasan Piker, "I'm going to come and kill you." He was trolling, of course, but
in the ring, no, in real life,
no, in real life. I mean, that's actually just a real fun, interesting thing. How, somebody even tried to qualify with him. You're joking, right? But because everyone knew that he was playing a part, that he could get away with saying, no, in real life.
Wear your dresses. I'll skin you. I think he's going to skin him or something like that. Wear a suit or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fantastic.
Like his Irish ancestors. Oh my gosh. And so Hasan, right? He has said some of the most vile, evil crap, right? All the way back from when he said America deserved 9/11 and mocking Dan Crenshaw for losing his eye, saying that someone lost his eye because someone, let's just say, sexually violated him in the eye to try and keep it somewhat clear. This guy is such a scumbag. And then openly openly supported terrorist organizations, like shared actual terrorist propaganda on his streams. I've known about this for ages. Okay. And Ethan Klein decided to do what he calls a content nuke on Hasan Piker. You're late to the party, Ethan. You platformed him for like what, a year or more when all of this crap was already well known. Okay. And it doesn't redeem Ethan in any way for the crap he has said. And so maybe we'll get to some of his video, because at least he does expose stuff that's very well known for ages, but he is exposed it to a much wider audience. And he calls out in detail a lot of the crap Hasan has done. And genuinely, like, actively supporting terrorism, man. It gets wild. All right, so is this a clip of Destiny shooting?
Is this Destiny's son shooting Destiny?
Is this safe for you, Dev?
It doesn't even actually shoot him on screen. You hear it happen.
All right. So you reckon we can share it?
I'm pretty sure we can.
Okay.
Because you don't really see anything on screen. Kind of like he's streaming like his dad, and then he goes to the other room and shoots Destiny. You hear him go, what the hell?
Is that real? Is it real?
It's like a pellet gun or something.
Oh, okay. So
Destiny is so cooked.
does YouTube even allow like realistic guns like that on stream? I guess there's the gun channels, but they have to.
Well, that one has a wordage cap on it.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, fuck.
Look, you want to see some clips of bloody Destiny? Let me just bring some of this stuff up, because this is actually insane. Okay.
Well, there's another clip. I don't know where it is. I don't have this one, but where Destiny is in like a debate with his son, and his son's like, his son basically calls Destiny's job like unimportant and silly and stupid, and then Jesse has to like agree with it. Yeah. And also, I think his son like supports Trump and like all and these right wing views and everything. I don't think he likes his father very much.
Yeah, I've heard rumor of that. Right. Now, I need to apologize for the swearing for people who like the fact that we try and keep things clean on this stream. Destiny and a lot of these people, they just, don't care. And they're clips. I can't pre-edit them out. So just pre-warning, where only 8 minutes into the stream, do you reckon we'll get away with F-bombs being dropped, Lit Dev?
I think by now, yeah. I think by now.
Let's hope. So listen to some of the crap this insane guy has said. And when you hear it, you will agree. I think the same. Ready?
I'm ready for the great cleansing, dude.
Cleansing?
The cleansing.
What cleansing?
When we genocide conservatives in this country.
Like,
Are you going to be out in the streets with your Glock?
Maybe.
His Glock. Oh, yeah, just take out your Glock and start genociding people. Yeah.
Genociding.
Well, I mean, he is a leftist. Genocide is in his blood, so.
Well, right? It's kind of par for the course for his type of ideology, right? Now, you might be thinking, he's just kind of speaking off the cuff. He's not being serious.
Okay, even if he were speaking off the cuff, it was joking. Would he give that sort of leeway to anybody else?
Exactly. he would not give that charity to
fair
anyone
play
else.
Is fair play,
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? If it was off the cuff, he surely wouldn't have said it another time, would it? He?
You genuinely do hate conservatives, don't you?
Very much so. Like I've moved full on to like the political violence level, or the real violence level when it comes to conservative people. Yeah, I think they need to be like excised from my fucking country. I think they are demonstrably fucking evil people by any moral system that most people would use. And then I just hate them because they tend to destroy the outcomes related.
Ready for the full political violence.
Well, I mean, this is what happens when a leftist loses too much. And you keep losing. Made a career out of losing. It's kind of where you get to. Sooner or later, you get this too resentful. It's kind of what happens.
And I hope people will start to understand as well. this is the guy, right, who has the goal to lecture people about ethics and morality, right? And wait until you hear about some of the other crap that is recently done. So what's come out recently about Destiny is that he has filmed his sexual encounters with other women without their knowledge. He has filmed them without their knowledge and then shared that footage with other people without their consent. And it's like, holy crap. I mean, that is top tier scumbaggery, vile, evil crap. I'm trying to what's worse, calling for genocide or sharing people's non-consensual sexual encounters that have been filmed without their knowledge. Like, that's both are really, really bad, right? And this is the guy that wants to like point his finger and say, these people are so evil and they have no morals or standards. You friggin' hypocritical ass. Holy crap. No. There's been allegations come out that he has literally filmed people without their knowledge. All right. I've been following this very closely. We might even watch, because guess what? There's been another content nuke by another different creator, nuking Destiny.
Showing a lot of nukes going off.
Oh my gosh. And the Buddy Rabbit is sharing. So Destiny once said that pedo is a moral neutral.
I like the fact that the guy who wants to be a genocidal maniac is the guy telling you how to be moral.
Right? Exactly. This is the guy.
Immoral. We should genocide.
This is the guy that wants to lecture people about morality and ethics, and that his, perspective is the right one when he has proclaimed and said, what genocide, right? It is unbelievable. Now, those clips I had already seen before the allegations of his degeneracy has come out. So it's just compounded how much of an unbelievable top tier scumbag this piece of crap is, okay? And the fact that he has an audience is still baffling. Like, I do not care how good of an orator someone is, how good of a debater someone is, if they're fighting for my side. If I hear that they say crap like that, they are completely written off. Nothing that they say will I ever consider or regard of having any worth. By the way, this is kind of my same feelings about Andrew Tate. Like, some of the insanely vile, degenerate crap he has done in the past is like, that guy has no value in anything he says. I don't care if he says stuff that support my side. He is a degenerate, evil scumbag who has not even come close to trying to address. And by the way, there's been time and time again videos made of Andrew Tate from his own mouth admitting to some of the most evil, disgusting crap. Look up Milk Bar TV, and he just shares the clips from his own mouth. Or the Authentic Observer did a great takedown of Tate sharing some of the crap that he has done. And so that's why I said, if they have done such evil crap and they've not done anything to try and make amends for anything like that, I don't care if they're supposedly on my side. Nah. And I think that should be a standard. Like, shouldn't we hold the people who are advocating for our values to a higher standard? Should we not? And yet on the left, we see like people like Vorsh, Hasan Piker, and Destiny say some of these are not good people. They are immoral, evil degenerates for what they are advocating for. And there are a lot of people, I think, not only on the left, but even the audience, are like, yeah, that's kind of bad, but it's doing great work. Right.
Well, I know Andrew Tate would said that he doesn't like books. He doesn't read books. He's out there living life instead of being a nerd who reads books. So apparently he's not well read or something. I guess I don't know, but there's like his intern do that or like type that out or something. Like,
Andrew Tate has openly, there are videos of him admitting to sexually grooming a 15-year-old girl into sex work, cam work, right?
He broke it down once. Like, he broke it down, like the process of how to do it.
The process. He's into this crap. Okay? And when anything even comes close to him trying to address it, he's like, oh, you know, my sex work was there ages ago. And it's like, then people come out and say, it was only 2 or 3 years ago you were doing some of this crap, right? And he, gosh, it's actually insane. And these are clips of him saying it. Clips of him openly admitting to taking advantage of men. They're suckers, right? And abusing women constantly. The guy is an unbelievable scumbag.
Okay. Like a Jordan Belfort kind of guy, where it's just I spend their money better than they do, so it's just okay if I take it from them.
We are Harbinger. You share something very. We should hold everyone to their values they espouse at a minimum.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure if someone else was calling, if like some guy on the right was calling for genocide, I don't think Destiny would be like, "Oh yeah, that's okay." I'm pretty sure that wouldn't be the case.
Exactly. And if anyone's like, you know, no one should cancel. Kind of. Look who's here, sir. We're having a wild time, and you've missed already some stuff.
All right, start over.
Welcome to the Culture Crusade.
We can't. Like, we've already been going kind of pretty, you know, hard. Like we're talking about Destiny, the streamer, and Hasan Piker that like they've been getting exposed recently, and we might watch some more of.
Watch some of the porn that he uploaded. It's gonna be crazy.
No, we're not. Oh, don't. No, God, like Mike, it is wild. It is crazy, and these are some of the most popular, you know,
Retards.
Streamers on the insane, you know, woke left.
You made it.
I know who Destiny is. Yeah.
You made it just in time. We're about to see the dick stuff.
No, no shit.
And the butt
I'm
stuff.
gonna go back to bed.
It's just, oh my gosh. But here's another one. We've got and by the way, these are clips that I knew of before these supposed content nukes have been dropping in this last week. And so this is what he said about a good, honest, decent man, Corey Comparator, who got shot at the Trump, you know, assassination attempt, right? This is what this scumbag said about that guy.
Conservatives have been disgusting for years, which is why I don't give a fuck about anybody that winds up at any of these rallies and gets shot or whatever the fuck, okay? Because they had no problem making fun of Paul Pelosi. The entire world would...
Did Corey make fun of any... It's freaking
be better off if these people were permanently removed from these platforms.
Oh, that's him, you know, advocating for wholesale, you know, people.
I made fun of Paul Pelosi, so what?
Yeah, right. But does that? He's like, well, that means you deserve to die, or no one mourn when you die. Like that's Destiny's standard. And and then he's like, he thinks it'll be.
It's like, does he have a double jointed jaw or something? Because he always talking.
I think his
jaw just all over the place when he's talking.
I think he's on like a cocktail of drugs. I think the drugs thing.
Yeah, it's an effect of drugs. I just don't know how, right? So this is him proclaiming that he would love every conservative banned off of the social media platforms.
Like there is no downside and only upside to see people like Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Tim Pool never be allowed to publicly broadcast their opinions ever again.
So this is the thing. I am against, you know, cancel culture, but I also believe in holding people to their own standards. And I've actually been consistent about this. I have multiple tweets, maybe I can dig them up, about, all right, the people who actually deserve to be canceled are those that proclaim cancellation when it wasn't just. When someone actually gets, you know, removed, you know, from a job or something like that, for having murdered someone, we don't call that cancel culture. We call that like justice, you know, when someone receives proper consequences for their truly vile actions. That's not cancel culture. That's just justice. Cancel culture is when it is unjust, when people try and dig up stupid things you've said in the past that you don't even necessarily ascribe to currently. That a kid was wearing, the face paint of his sports team, and people tried to attack him for it. That's an example of cancel culture. What about when an activist, indigenous, protester starts to bang a drum in someone's face, and the person is only wearing a MAGA hat and simply smiles in return, and they try and ruin his life and drag his name through the mud? Yeah, that's cancel culture.
I think he won, though. I think he won. They had to pay him a bunch of money. But the term face crime came out from that incident. Like face crime? Because he smiled, because of his smile. He's like, oh, because he smiled that he had.
Yeah.
So that's like a face crime. Like you should go to jail for smiling in front. Like, what the hell? What is this?
I saw prominent people on the left saying that he should get punched just for smiling. He has the most punchable face, and all this friggin' bull.
This is a kid, by the way. He's like a teenager.
Yeah, I was like 15.
And they lied and slandered him massively. That's cancel culture. When assholes proclaim advocate multiple times for friggin' genocide, right? Yeah, I think that might be something that is against terms of service on some of these platforms. And also because his standard is to have people removed, hold him to his own standard. That's what I would say to that. And that's actually a biblical standard as well. For whatever ye meet shall be
Meted unto you.
Meted unto you, I think is the phraseology.
With what judgment ye shall meet shall be meted unto you.
Exactly. So he deserves to be held to his own standard. So if people are worried that, people are canceling Destiny, is like, oh, really? He advocates this. He believes people should. If they're vile, disgusting people where there is...
Catch me up. Is Destiny being canceled?
So,
yeah, revenge porn. He might go to jail. He might go to
He
jail.
might actually go to jail.
Yeah, because he got all these tons of allegations are coming out because of course he's a deviant being on the left. He has some skeletons in his closet, and then also he came out. There's some revenge porn that came out, got plastered everywhere, which is legal. So he's getting legal trouble for that.
Yeah, like filming sexual encounters without people knowing. And even the people that did know that they might have been getting filmed, sharing that footage without their consent with other people, they're distributing it, actual revenge porn. And people have filed police reports against him already. And it looks like it will be going to the courts.
But I keep saying that if Destiny does go to jail, it's like a win-win, right?
Well, he kind of likes certain things going up certain orifices, so he might enjoy it because he's a degenerate. So as a result, both Destiny and Hasan content nukes have come out. This is a term that comes from the old content cops that iDubbbz used to make. Did you guys ever watch any of these content cops?
Unfortunately, I didn't. I've seen him now, though, in his more pathetic state.
All right. Well, his old ones, some of them, because iDubbbz is just completely folded on everything. It's really sad what's going on with that guy. I think there was because it seems like he was in or is still in a really toxic relationship. His wife seems to be either abusive. Don't even know if he's still with her, but I think she even exposed that he has incontinence issues behind the scenes. Like he poops himself. That's what I remember. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I remember hearing a report. Anyway, sad guy, old iDubbbz now. He's removed a lot of content cops. Now, Content Cop was a format where he would mock people, bully people, and he openly admitted that was bullying, but he would frame it in the sense that these people basically deserved to get bullied. I don't know, maybe not, but it was really popular content, and so Ethan Klein, because he had an axe to grind against Keemstar, he decided to make the first content nuke, and he made a long video exposing Keemstar. I actually don't know how sincere or genuine or honest that original content cop was against Keemstar. Keemstar has seemed to have fought back against a lot of those allegations. Ethan Klein is not an honest person from my assessment of him. And he has said some really crappy things, right? Some that he even tried to laugh off in his content cop against Hasan, where I've done some bad things, and he didn't apologize for those things he said. He's just like, I'm a kind of an idiot too. He was like, hang on, what he said was really, really vile, saying that there was like a protest or some building where he said should be bombed or something like that. So, anyway, he said some really bad stuff, and it might come up if we go through that content cop. So this guy has been pretty far left, inconsistent idiot. Oh, he also, do you remember when he had that beef with Steven Crowder, Ethan Klein? Do you guys remember that?
I think I remember that, yeah.
So he was basically saying that you don't need to think for yourself. The scientists will think for you, and basically just get the jab. That's what he said. He is that much of an idiot. He happily said something to the effect of, you don't need to think for yourself. You can let other people do it for you. It was just one of the dumbest. So that's Ethan Klein. That's Ethan Klein level of intelligence, right? Now, having said that, his stuff that he says about Hasan is mostly correct, because I am already aware with many of the crap Hasan has done in the past. So even though it's coming from someone that I do not consider reliable or even consistent in their own standards, or even very moral, and is a really far leftist, he still has a humor about him, which I think is effective. He is funny in some moments in his video, and he calls out Hasan, which is finally, even Mike, are you aware that Ethan Klein did a podcast with Hasan Piker for like a year?
I don't even know who Hasan Piker is.
Oh,
I know Ethan Klein. He was like really fat, and then looks like he did a combo of cocaine and Ozempic or something.
I envy you, Mike, that you don't know who Hasan Piker is.
I've heard the name. I have no clue.
Yeah, well, it's not worth your time, and so correct decision.
There is a soy jack of him, though.
There is.
There's a soy jack of him.
Oh my gosh! And we will probably look into some of it, but just because Ethan Klein is finally calling out Hasan Piker, that does not redeem this guy from his own comments, his inconsistency, and the fact that it was so obvious how much of a scumbag Hasan Piker was for years, right? Saying some really bad stuff, even when he was on that podcast with Ethan. So we might look at some of these, and look, we probably don't have time to go through everything, but we'll skip around, watch some of the videos, and share our thoughts on these guys. One last thing that I wanted to kind of mention, and then we'll catch up with super chats, jump to some of the videos, is I don't know how effective these supposed content nukes are. I think the criminal allegations are going to be much more severe, right? But I've seen this internet type of blood sport where people just try and make hit pieces against others, and they rarely work. What's depressing about Hasan is I think he's going to continue on having a huge audience when it's exposed. Mike, he's openly advocated for terrorism and shared terrorist propaganda on his stream. Hasan Piker has, right? Isn't that treason? Wouldn't that qualify for treason? I know it's against terms of service. I don't know. I know it's against terms of service on Twitch, but it's still on there because he's the biggest streamer there and is making in so much money. And so the double standard is crazy, but he has openly violated Twitch's terms of service.
Hasan.
America deserved 9/11. It's that guy.
Hasan? His name's Hasan?
Hasan, yeah.
Hasan Chop. That guy.
I wonder what is his worldview coming from?
He's an extreme far leftist advocate for, destroying Israel, wiping them off the map, and
that's what got him in trouble with Ethan Klein, because Ethan Klein his wife is from Israel, I think.
I think Ethan Klein himself is a dual citizen.
Is this the Muslim leftist versus the
Israeli
Jewish leftist?
That's what happened. So like when the whole thing started coming down between Palestine and Israel, Ethan Klein was blindsided by the fact that Hasan was like very, very anti-Israel, very anti-Jewish, and that's what started the crack between their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, one's named Hasan, one's name's Klein.
Who could have seen this? How could have they clashed?
As far as I know, Ethan
figure this
Klein was
out.
like, Ethan Klein was like, "Hey, come on, man, stop, lighten up, let up on it, apologize or something." And then Hasan's like, "No, I'm not gonna apologize," and he just doubled down on it.
And
So,
Hasan's like,
that's-
from the river to the sea.
I think that's that level. Like he has excused like the rape that has happened in the conflict and everything. Like that, he is a piece of crap. He even basically called babies colonizers, and that it was fine for colonizers to be killed in the conflict. That's me paraphrasing some of the sentiment that is shared. So that's him excusing baby murder, essentially. This is how much of an insane extremist piece of crap Hasan Piker is, right? It's wild. And the fact that people even give him platform, because the thing, he has attracted insane extremists, all the people that we know love that type of rhetoric and want to push for it more.
On my show earlier today, I was making the note that, like, if certain people have names that go back just thousands of years, right? Like if you go back in my history, I'm a miller, so someone back in my lineage worked in a mill, owned a mill, Smith. I mean, someone back there was a Smith. What's a piker?
It does.
I remember the Middle Ages and something about the Muslims putting babies on pikes. Is that where he got his name?
Well, it invokes images of Vlad the Impaler, doesn't it? I do not know.
Just a family history thing.
He is a nephew of Cenk Uyghur.
Yeah. I find it
Uyghur?
really depressing. No, I find it really depressing that people like Destiny, Hasan, Vorsh have such sizable audiences, and part of the reason is that there's a lot of people who either agree with them or okay to ignore a lot of the most extreme crap because they're batting for their side. But these people are actually the ones who end up radicalizing their audiences even more.
Yep.
And their audience gets on board with it. And you wonder why there are so many insanely extreme, woke leftist activists in the world. Well,
what's annoying to me is like this guy, and like there's this other guy I've been paying attention to on YouTube lately. It does sort of the same thing as Destiny. He's an atheist apologist. But it's where they verbally vomit on you, and it's like whatever. And anytime you're in a debate situation, it's like if they're not making their point, or their point is getting deviated a little bit, they just jump to another topic and just start vomiting words at you. And I hate watching Destiny because of this, but the idiots in the audience who think this is winning a debate, it's not. It's like you're not making any actual points, and you're not going point by point. You're just freaking all over the freaking audience, or over your
watching. I've only watched a couple of Destiny's debates, but even though them that I've watched, really easy to see his tactic.
Yeah, I love watching him against Andrew Wilson. Andrew Wilson just like
that's the thing, because
shoves him back on this.
When he actually debates someone who is informed and knows facts, he gets rolled.
Yeah.
The thing that he is good at is the debate games, catching people in their own words, looking for hypocrisy, and it's all about winning an argument, not establishing what is true. And he will often speak with huge confidence and cite sources that he just puts out as fact, right, to try and steamroll someone with his own facts and stuff like that. But every time he's come across someone who knows the subject matter, right, calls him out constantly. Like his debate with Jordan Peterson.
Oh, that was glorious.
Was glorious. Jordan just rolled him.
Yeah, and he ends up just looking like this intemperate little kid.
Yes.
Right? Well, I have all these ideas. Why don't you listen to my ideas? Because your
But I mean-
ideas are stupid.
Have you ever seen Destiny show up like on an actual like debate course, like on the news or whatever? Everyone else is in suits and dressed up nice. He's like in a t-shirt or something, or like maybe he was a t-shirt and a blazer or something. It was like someone's teenage son was dragged to work. That's what he dresses like every single time.
Man, I want to find the Destiny Jordan Peterson clip where Destiny was trying to debate him.
The global warming bit.
I'm looking for it. Where he tries to, do something, excuse something because of the Vatican, and Jordan is just like, but they don't tax you, and they can't conscript you into an army, and they can't do this, and they can't do that. And Destin's like, right? And it's like, he tries to cite references to back up his points, okay, even if they're complete bullcrap. And people who are not informed to be able to call him out on that, he gets away with it in his debate kind of tactics. But as soon as he tried to play that on someone who knows, what they're discussing, he got completely rolled.
Yeah.
Jordan just destroyed him. And so he's actually nowhere near as smart as he thinks he is. He just knows how to play debate games. And that's it. And then he attracts an audience, especially people who are, think that is fighting for their side. And so they just wanted to see him win internet, battles and games, right?
Yeah.
Than actually striving to find the truth of what is being discussed.
Have you ever seen him debate Andrew Wilson?
No. Hang on. Who's Andrew Wilson again? Because I've seen a couple.
He's this like super based dude on he's on the Whatever podcast a lot as a call-in or a host or a co-host or whatever. But he's just he's like a world-class debater. He's super based.
That guy.
He's an Orthodox Christian, and he calls Destiny the Coomer Gremlin.
Dude, with the recent allegations, that is much more true than you think. Like, people would be like laughing at Destiny saying he gooned too close to the sun. This guy is like next level degenerate. Seriously. Like, he is literally, it's what he said, that he's been turned on by 15-year-olds, and that, they like, one looked really, really hot and it was hard to turn her down. And it's like, dude, like, this guy is a piece of crap.
How old is he?
It's like, what, 30s to 40s at least, I think, like around there. Yeah. I mean, he has said that an 18 to 19-year-old is a child to him because of the large age difference, right? Like, he has said that they're basically a child to him, and yet that there are other messages of him being really attracted to 15-year-olds.
I saw a picture of him earlier. Like, was he advocating or discussing the idea of ethical CP? Because I know he talks about that a lot, and also
actually, yes.
Supporting incest and stuff too.
Oh gosh, like, so his ethical CP stuff, it comes like in the content nuke that someone made of him. And by the way, the person that did the content nuke against Destiny, this isn't Ethan. Ethan did it against Hasan. This one is like, he's another far left, non-binary identifying guy who clearly, like, we probably disagree with greatly, but he does bring out some receipts. But like, what's interesting, the content, nuke, he doesn't call Destiny out for proclaiming for genocide against conservatives. It's one of the worst things he's ever said. Yet it's interestingly missing so far from what I've seen in this content nuke this other far left guy made. Interesting that is omitted from this Destiny call out video.
Oh, Mike missed the part where Destiny's son shot him with a pellet gun.
Yes,
because Destiny's son is pro MAGA and right wing and stuff. It's pretty funny. And then he called Destiny's job unimportant and silly and stupid. And he's argued all the arguments Destiny has. His son has the opposite. It's pretty funny.
How old is his son?
His son is like little kids, like what, 12, baby? Annihilating him.
I want to see that.
Oh man,
based mini Destiny.
So let's grab some of the super chats and then watch some of these videos. It's been a crazy week, and as I kind of said, bit in the beginning, it is satisfying to see scumbags being called out and exposed for things that they've said. Destiny might actually go to jail, and if he's guilty of these crimes, he friggin' deserves it.
He'll
Okay?
probably enjoy it.
Probably. And Hasan Piker has unironically promoted terrorism. That should be a bannable offense. It is directly, breaching Twitch's terms of service. And Twitch has been platforming. Twitch has basically been promoting terrorism by promoting Hasan. It's
Really?
crazy. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Twitch is evil with the crap that they have allowed Hasan to get away with. They even did this birthday celebration singing happy birthday to Hasan, and it's the CEO of Twitch singing it. That's how much of fans they are of Hasan, terrorist promoting Piker. That's
You have to get mad at Elon Musk owning Twitter.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh.
Someone should tweet at him, hey Elon, you should buy Twitch.
No, Twitch is done. It's gone. I'd like to see the numbers. I'm pretty sure Kick is probably just getting more views than Twitch at this point.
I like when there was a rumor that Elon was going to bring Vine back, because I feel like a lot of people would jump on it if he did.
I don't know. See, I reckon that would be a waste. One that might have been worthwhile was TikTok, but yeah, I don't know what'll happen in the future with TikTok.
You think Vine still has all its subscribers?
I have no idea. I know. Vine,
like if they just booted back up again, would they just like? You still have it?
I think I'd be dead.
That was like the original though. The short
Yeah.
attention span theater, you know?
Yep. Chaos in Control for 199 says, "This is MAGA country, baby."
Yes, it is.
Hell yes. David P. $5 says, "Leftist content creator nuking each other is not the World War III I was told Trump would start." Oh, it's funny. And they're just trying to destroy themselves. They're still going to be around, but if anyone wants like consistency and actually has some standards, right? You would never listen.
Well, they
to
wouldn't be on the left.
Well, but you would never listen to anything these guys have said for the insane evil crap they've already spouted. They are worthless. Their words are worthless, and nothing they say should be given any amount of serious consideration, apart from perhaps being mocked and exposed for their hypocrisy, right? Buddy Rabbit for $2 says, "But Litdev, I'd win that game of chicken." What game of chicken? I can't remember. That
I don't know.
But thank you, Buddy Rabbit.
I would like some chicken. That'd be fun.
Daniel Penny, the Xeon Supreme Leader, for $5 says, "Random Yoko Twitter, a Japanese woman, and legal mindset who said he will not let Hasan move to Japan. I hope they will stop him seeking refuge in Japan." Is he trying to flee the country? This is all rumor. I don't know.
Remember that time where like Hasan went to a brothel in like some other country, and then almost immediately afterward, their brothel was raided for having underage
workers and sex slaves in the brothel he visited. What does that imply?
What'd you go there for, Hasan? What was that place you went to? Mr. Ethical Morals?
It implies people who don't believe in ethics and morals shouldn't preach ethics and morals.
Oh, 100%, right?
So
they're open about this.
We got Destiny discussing ethical CP over on one end. We got Vosh with his vault of porn, and then we have Hasan over here going to brothels that have been raided for having underage sex slaves in there. Like, okay, these guys are the moral arbiters. Okay,
right?
That's
right,
weird.
These are the guys that'll tell you the God of the Bible is evil.
Yeah, and that you're not.
Unironically, though, these are the hypocritical bullcrap scumbags that have the gall to try and lecture their audience and criticize and attack people on the other side of the political spectrum on grounds of ethics. When, by the way, they have come out and said, I'm pretty sure I've seen a clip from Hasan effectively saying the same thing, where it's okay to lie if it means, serving the purpose. I need to look it up. So that one is more hearsay. But in terms of someone just saying it blatantly, Oh, look who this guy. Oh, we recognize this guy. Listen to what he says.
You call it selling out your principles. I call it fucking winning.
Oh, so it's not about ethics or principles or holding to a standard. It's about winning at any cost, even if it compromises your morals and standards.
Well, yes,
Thank you for taking the mask off and saying the truth there.
And that's my principle.
That's his principle. Only
the
about
principle's
winning.
just winning.
As a socialist. Not
Whatever
to
it
lose
takes.
As a socialist.
Whatever
That's not
it
my
takes.
principle.
The ends justify the means. That's why they will happily lie, cheat, be blatant hypocrites, lecture others when they are the most degenerate people around, right?
But at the end of the day, though, what did it do? Like Vosh doesn't do anything. He's just on there talking. He's just on there talking, right? He's not making a business or enacting his values in a business or anything like that. He's just talking to his audience, doing nothing but stirring them up. Trump still won. Trump still won in 2024. He spent like all these years trying to rally up everybody, right? And then he did nothing. He accomplished nothing. Trump won. He lost.
Well, this is true in the larger scale as to how much influence these idiots really have, but they do further radicalize their own audience, and they do contribute to a far more divisive internet environment where
what do they do? Like even if he rallies up his audience, maybe they might hurt somebody or something.
I mean,
or whatever.
They've ruined people's lives with false allegations and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
these people.
But are they really affecting change? I don't think any of these people are going out there like making a business and like trying to instill the values and everything. They're just complaining and bullying people into compliance. They're not actually changing much because they're not making things. They're not going out there making businesses or making things that are really, really good or imaginative or anything like that. They're just yelling online.
In actual fact, I think in some measure, these insane extremists have harmed their own movement by being exposed for being liars, degenerates, and like what he just said. He doesn't care about principles; he cares about winning, and so that's him admitting that it's okay to lie if it helps serves his purpose in winning. And it's effectively there's another clip of him saying that he will bend the truth if it serves a greater goal. Basically, I'm paraphrasing that one. And I'd like to find that clip because, it's just him again admitting, mask off, admitting that they are happy to lie, cheat, hypocritical, be manipulative, all that stuff, because their goal of the extreme leftist utopia, they're communist essentially, is more important. And so, these people, they are not moral, they're not ethical, they're not consistent, they are actual dirtbags that should be ignored. All right. Buddy Rabbit for $10 says the reason he gave to the jaw thing was tardive dyskinesia. They are unintentional awkward movements because of the disorder. The internet insisted he was covering up amphetamine abuse. Yes. See, the thing, if he has that condition, I haven't seen that pop up regularly as a consistent thing. And by the way, he's admitted that he likes taking drugs, right? So, like,
drug things he's more likely.
But still, thank you for sharing what he said. It was Buddy Rabbit, James Castile, dude. I hope that's your real last name because I freaking love that word. Castile, and Castellian. Castellian is a word that sometimes has different uses and meanings, but generally it can be used to mean that someone who is in charge of the castle, the Castellian. $5 says, Shad and their faux moral outrage when they support Trump is threatening U.S. allies. He's a literal felon. Tiny shared a nude.
That's
tiny. No, the horror.
Well, he shared more than a nude. I mean, you're not going to go to jail for sharing a nude unless it's to someone not really supposed to be sharing a nude to.
Also, Shad U.S. allies. You mean
he did the tariffs and everything? I guess.
Oh, tariffs.
That's not
threatening. Is that threatening?
You know who else had tariffs? Biden.
Negotiating tactic.
Everyone has tariffs. Like that's kind of a thing. I think that's not. Like, Trump didn't invent tariffs. Okay, it's like, hey, we need, the U.S. is tired of being taken advantage of, and so we are going to we're going to negotiate by instilling tariffs, and then we're going to negotiate for taking those tariffs away. And he did within like what 48 hours. Pretty good stuff. It's not a threat. It's just normal everyday workings being formed into threats by the media. What this is everyday workings, even under the Biden administration, even under the previous administration.
Let me explain a little something about the guy who wrote The Art of the Deal. Your first offer is always way further down the line than you're willing to accept. So when he says, we're taking Panama back, it brings Panama to the negotiating table. Today, or was it yesterday, the Panamanian government said, you know, you're right, mate. We're going to stop letting China control all this stuff. Already, without even making any real movements, Trump has won just by saying, we're taking you back.
In terms of is Trump a good person or not, right? The amount of bullcrap and attacks the media have lobbed against him is actually insane, and the amount of dishonesty is crazy. Like, I've looked into it a bit, and Trump has this remarkable track record of being a really decent person, right? Like, there was a guy that this one was on Twitter, but it sounded actually reliable. That a guy helped him with his tire when he had to pull over the side of the road, and Trump in return ended up paying his entire mortgage. Have you heard that one? That account? Like, and
well, the Art of the Deal begins with a story like that, where he had a wife, a farmer was losing their farm, and the husband killed himself so they could get the money from the insurance. It didn't work out as well. They're still losing the farm or something, and so Trump gathered all his friends to help, to build a fundraiser so they can have the money to keep the farm. It was something. I looked it up. It was real.
Like,
he died.
He actually stopped his limo one time to stop a mugging.
Right? Like, no, there are multiple
Batman.
multiple verified accounts of him doing some really decent, good stuff, right? And then just on the macro scale, like, he, policy-wise, I think is doing some really interesting stuff. Now, it's not to say he hasn't done things that I've disagreed with or found annoying, but let me put it this way. He's never advocated for genocide of his political opponents, right? I think that's...
And if he did, that would be his first offer.
And in terms of him being a convicted felon, that one, like, the amount of bullcrap, trumped up lawfare crap that was lobbed his way is actually crazy. Like, I think Megyn Kelly broke this down masterfully in this clip in regards to the Trump lawfare stuff.
I think Trump on appeal will win. There are so many holes in that case, so I don't think Trump will ever do one single day in jail.
So, Megan, if we look at the 5 cases, 6 months from now, or a year from now, let's assume all 5 of them go to trial. He's guilty of 3 so far.
Wait, what do you mean he's guilty of 3 so far?
Well, he's been convicted of 3. Sorry.
What do you mean? No, he hasn't.
I love this.
This is great.
No, Eugene Carroll was guilty.
That was not a conviction. That was a civil case.
Okay, well, yes, so that's what I'm talking about. So that
okay, but there's a big difference.
It's still, he was convicted. He was guilty of that. He got a settlement. In the Trump organization, they're guilty there.
That, again, was still civil, liable.
Yes, of course. But these are the cases we're talking about. And in the third one,
she's a lawyer, right?
Yeah, of course. And in the third one, I'm just talking about the 5 cases. Yes, some are civil, obviously, and some are not. Some are criminal. But if we look at all 5 cases,
3 convictions. Now you're walking it back.
I'm not walking it back. There's 3 in which he was.
You should walk it back.
Okay,
I'm so glad Megan is here.
Of the 5, 3 of them, he's either guilty or
you got a bad result.
Yeah, got a bad result. There are 2 more. If he is found guilty of those 2 more, Megan, and 5 of 5, he had a bad result. Way to frame it.
And by the way, like these criminal proceedings, right? This isn't about him, filming someone in an intimate, act against their will or distributing it. This isn't about him beating, a wife. A lot of it is such nonsense lawfare crap that he had documents in his house when he shouldn't have had the documents in his house, or he paid his lawyer or stuff like that. It's like, it's amazing that he's a convicted felon, and that people are using that to equate
literally no one else in history has been like charged with the stuff that he's been charged with. It's like the first time ever. It's like, an ex-president had files. Yeah, they all. have files.
Biden had them. Didn't Biden do the exact same thing? They said that.
No, it's far worse for Biden because Biden didn't have the right to ever have them. Trump did. He took them out as a senator and as a vice president. He had no right to those files, to classified documents. That was illegal upon illegal. Trump, he's like, these no longer classified. That's all he had to say. He didn't even have to say it. There was like every other president had classified files in their home. It's like,
well, Megan continues to dismantle this, and it's pretty good.
Will you chalk all 5 up in your mind to 5 different jurisdictions, 5 different prosecutors, 5 different juries and or judges, all conspiring to get him?
100%.
Okay.
Yes.
That's all I wanted to hear your answer, Tim. 5 of 5 different jurisdictions.
Yeah.
You think it's all
E. Jean
lawfare?
Carroll, they changed the law so that she could bring a civil lawsuit against him, and she did.
They changed the law so she could bring a civil lawsuit against him. Like, that's wild, man.
New York went 87% for Joe Biden. That fix was in right from the start.
Oh yeah, like the fact that so many of the judges are so far left leaning, and people are thinking, oh gee, it's like, why are these really far left judges going after Trump? Didn't they say they would look for crimes instead of having a crime brought to them and then reacting to it?
I think it was the attorney general who was he ran on I will find, or she ran on I will find something to arrest Trump on, or something like that, and won.
Like, and by the way, like the amount of legalese bullcrap we have to go through in the modern day is insane. I reckon you could take any single person in the world, and if you put them under the microscope, you will find it not only one, multiple crimes that they are accidentally committing through just sheer not being aware of it. Like the amount of regulations that we have to follow is actually insane, right? And so when people want to do that, I'm going to look for a crime to find. I think you could do that with friggin' anyone. And that's what this judge was doing, basically.
Yeah, I think, was it Stalin said that? Show me the man and I'll show you the crime. Somebody, who was that? Let Deb.
Don't know about it.
It sounds like it's like a Stalin thing. It's like something Stalin would do.
Sounds like something he would say.
But also, I know they like to lob around you think it's a big conspiracy. Like it's one big conspiracy. Well, as George Carlin said, it doesn't have to be one centrist or conspiracy. All of these people that are in charge, they go to the same schools. They're part of the same clubs. They're part of the same societies. They're part of the same everything. And he goes on to say, this is why you have like 2 political parties, 3 oil companies, maybe even less now, but you have 25 bagels. So you could have an illusion of choice there. All the stuff that's important, you have no choice in really. All the stuff that's not important, you got a million of, because that gives you the illusion of choice, illusion of freedom.
The fraud trial that Letitia James brought against him has never been brought. There's no victims. The banks who were involved said, we didn't lose a penny. What are we doing here? We weren't damaged. Nobody was complaining except Tish James, who ran for office saying, I will get him.
Yep. That's the one where it's like she ran for office saying that she will go after him and just look for any possible way, any possible angle.
Then you have Alvin Bragg, who's a George Soros funded prosecutor who doesn't like to prosecute any crime in New York City, where I lived for 17 years, except if your name is Donald Trump.
This is savage. It's like we won't prosecute any other crime, and there are a lot of crimes in New York.
Here's the thing that she's also a lawyer, so she has a law degree, which according to Twitter means that she can't be questioned, and that she's actually 100% right.
Let's go down to Georgia, where Fani Willis and Nathan Wade couldn't keep their libidos in check long enough to actually bring this case against Donald Trump. It's a repeat of what was happening in January 6th up in the case with Judge Chutkan, who loathes Trump and has sentenced almost every J6 defendant to way more jail time than their counterparts would get.
Oh, what happened to the January 6th, that's crazy. And of course, Trump pardoned them all. Legend, right?
I heard a story about this one father I don't even know if his son's out yet, but they kept moving him. Like, so that like over the course of the 4 years he was in prison, he'd never been fully charged, right? So he's been in prison. They would move him like anytime they found him in whatever prison they moved him to without telling the parents where he was. They'd find him, they'd get the lawyer, they'd start building a case, and then as soon as they started building their case, they would move him again. And it would take them months to find. Like he was missing one time for 3 months. They just didn't know what prison he was in because they were just hiding him from his lawyer. And I don't even know if he has gotten out yet. I don't know if they've found him. That's how freaking insidious these people are.
There is video.
If anybody heard that this stuff, what happened to J6ers happened in Russia, they would be like up in arms.
Yeah, I know.
They'd be like, this is what totalitarians, this is communism, blah, 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 all this stuff. I mean, it's like, bro, Biden did.
There is video footage of police officers opening the doors to the Capitol building and letting them in.
I was doing a political channel at the time, dude. I was showing all that stuff live. Like, they were opening the gates, they were waving the entire crowd into the Capitol area.
I'm like, the left is acting like it was an insurrection coup, and you look and it's like these people just wandering around like tourists in the building doing nothing.
Well, not to mention, it's the most secure building like in the world, aside from the Pentagon. That those doors are like 2 tons and magnetically sealed. They cannot be breached from the outside. They have to be opened from the inside.
And so people being wrongfully imprisoned, that's a big issue for me, right? And it is clear that so many of the January 6 people were wrongfully imprisoned and Trump pardoned them, right? Good on him. Look at Biden. He pardoned Fauci.
Just in case.
He pardoned his son.
I thought Dr. Fauci was angry about that pardon because now he looks guilty. Like, I want to reiterate that I've done nothing wrong. It's because I've been pardoned.
Can you reject a pardon?
I don't know, but I mean, to me, Biden.
You can. I think you can. I think you actually can reject.
Well, he should.
He should. Yeah, he should reject the pardon because he's insisting that I did nothing wrong. I don't need this pardon. Okay, then reject it then.
Yes.
Biden made him look super guilty by giving him a pardon for some sort of crime that we don't know about. Like, what crime was being pardoned for exactly?
It also clearly shows that Biden knows what the crime is that he's guilty of.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Preemptive pardons. I think that they were saying something like that Trump was going to do that, and that was terrible and bad. And then ended up being Biden the one that did that.
Dude, I've got a video clip of Biden saying like, oh, well, we'll never do that under my administration.
Well, he forgot. Okay.
Yeah.
He forgot. Okay. He didn't have his ice cream that day. He kind of forgot.
They're lies.
Well, at the same time, who was it? One of the, I think Mike, what's his face from Congress, was saying that he went in and he was asking Biden, he's like, why did you sign this bill? And Biden's like, I didn't sign that bill. And he's like, yeah, you did sign this bill. He's like, no, I didn't. He's like, I signed a bill that said something else. He's like, no, that's not what you signed.
One of my favorite clips.
If you want proof, just if you want proof that Biden was a puppet where he was just on strings doing whatever people told him to, that clip proves it. It was like he was signing bills that he didn't even freaking know what they were.
Yeah, there was a clip. Of him I saw where he's like, he was going to read one of the executive orders. Like, what does this even say? I forget. I'll just sign it.
Oh my gosh, let's finish this clip.
Those are falling apart because of presidential immunity, which was handed down by the Supreme Court, who said you cannot bring a criminal case against a sitting president for any official act. Those cases have been gutted. Also, a Supreme Court ruling saying the same on January 6 defendants in general. And that leaves us with Florida and the documents. And Trump has torn that apart because Jack Smith wasn't properly appointed and isn't the right counsel. But there are other issues. They haven't even gotten to presidential immunity there. And so that one's going nowhere as well. And by the way, they're going to appeal it up to the 11th Circuit. She just threw it out. The 11th Circuit is conservative. And thank God, so is the current Supreme Court. They're not going to tolerate that nonsense.
Let me ask you about...
He's a convicted felon, guys. It's like those, charges brought against him. So much was just lawfare bullcrap of them trying to keep him out of office. And so, look, James, I like your last name, but don't accuse us of faux moral outrage. We have legitimate moral outrage when people do genuinely scummy stuff. And if Trump was to say something like advocate for genocide, I'd have as much criticism for him as I do for scumbags like Destiny.
Well, actually, I think I learned about false accusation that an innocent man can be accused of crime and jailed for a crime. It happens all the time. especially when it's politically motivated. I saw, this is something that was addressed in Star Trek many times. That's kind of where my purview is. I'm not a political guy, not really. I've been forced to dip my toe into the fetid pool of politics because it's been so saturating the mainstream entertainment. That's where I am. I'm the story guy. I look at that narrative structure, character, study the human condition, things like that. That's where I am. I am not a political person, not really. It was forced upon me. But the thing is,
same. They injected so much of their propaganda crap in the fun fantasy, pop culture stuff that I love, to the point where I could not honestly review the content without calling out the blatant propaganda and subversion in it. It's crazy.
Exactly. So, I mean, if
not me. I've been in politics for
if my knowledge in certain events is lacking, it's because that's not my purview. It's not my expertise. However, I do have a right to comment on these things as an American citizen. But I'm not an expert. But I do like, that's my expertise is stories, narrative story. I have a degree in that stuff. That's where my expertise lies. So I can say that I do know the topic of false accusation from my favorite shows in the past, like Star Trek, where my favorite episode, in fact, Measure of a Man, where like, okay, you know what, Data, you're a false person. Like, you're property of Star Trek. I mean, you're property of the stuff Starfleet. And so we had to do the whole trial thing to prove, like, was he good? Is he a real person? Should be seen as sentient? That's my jam. And also, there's also a DS9, the DS9 episode where Miles O'Brien gets brought in by the Cardassians, accused of a crime they know he did not commit. And then they tell him, like, well, we're gonna have the trial like tomorrow, but you're already guilty.
Oh, I need to interrupt you, Lit Dev. Remember, Stay Angry just gifted 20 Nights Watch memberships. You friggin' legend. Thank you very much. Remember, Stay Angry. You are a legend. We appreciate you, sir. Sorry, Lit Dev, I'll let you finish up now.
Well, there was DS9 where we had Miles Morales, not Miles Morales. What's his Miles O'Brien? There's not a lot of Miles out there. Or
I hear Miles Morales is Miles Morales, though.
Miles Morales is Miles Morales.
This is very true.
I don't see why that's an insult either. And Miles Morales should be his own character.
Should be 100%.
I posted that thing, that game that they had in China that they like closed down for an hour and then they brought it back up. The promo picture of it is like all the different Marvel characters, and then Miles Morales is like with his mask up. His Spider-Man mask is like a beanie on his face, so you can see he's a black kid. It's like, what?
I wonder why they're doing that, Mike.
Everyone else has their masks on. Why are we showing?
Serious?
Oh, it's because Miles Morales is Miles Morales.
He's Miles Morales.
Hey, Nathan Cassidy for 999 says, Andrew, legal mindset went over the legal stuff for the Destiny case. Key point is, according to Florida law, if you release porn without all parties consenting, that is against the law. Yes.
It is. It is. Another Ethan and Ralph went to jail for the same thing. Went to prison.
It's serious stuff, and he deserves to go to prison if he's guilty. 100. And it's like already multiple people are kind of confirming, like, and there's Discord logs leaked of him, saying stuff to this effect. It's wild.
But yeah, so like with the Miles O'Brien case, it was when he got taken in by the Cardassians. He was labeled with a crime he did not commit, and they preemptively found him guilty before the trial started. Because that's kind of how they run things in Cardassia. So, I mean, yeah, this is fiction, it's fictional universes. But one thing I really like about Star Trek is that it tackles real life situations or real life, even political contention, social contentions, into the guise of metaphor and fictional stories. And that was interesting to me. And that's kind of one of the things that I really enjoyed as a kid growing up, seeing these issues play out. And you had the issues of false accusation. So it's not just you're guilty, therefore you must be guilty. There are a lot of instances where men are found guilty and almost sentenced to death, and later on they had DNA evidence come in and exonerate them. So it is possible. Yeah, it's always a thing. You gotta always watch out.
It's one of the worst, most heartbreaking things when someone is falsely convicted of something and their freedom is stripped. Sorry, what'd you say, Mike?
Isn't the like there are four lights thing straight out of like 1984?
Yeah, more or less. Like, there are four lights. He's like, how many lights are there, Picard? There are 4 lights. And every time he says the correct answer, he gets shocked because that is the situation from, what was it called, Room 101, where it's one of my favorite moments in 1984, where I was like, no, Winston, sometimes it is 4, sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's all of them at once. It's not easy to become sane. Like, you being logical and not adhering completely mentally and emotionally to the party's doctrine means you are insane. So it's such a crazy moment in 1984, but it is how it works. Yeah.
Well, I mean, people on this side, they want moral relativism. They want, subjective truth, because that justifies the bullcrap that they want, because their ideology isn't founded on truth or what's the best. And so they have to lie to try and promote it. But yeah, Star Trek, man. That episode with, when Data was on trial.
I succeeded. I brought it back to my arena.
You did. It was brilliant. But we do need to get through these super chats.
Fantastic.
Nathan Cassidy for $4.99 says Ethan's whole video just showed how out of touch he was, because everyone knew how bad Hasan Piker was. 100 friggin' percent, Nathan. Absolutely. Also, he was simping for Israel the whole video. And
well, I would posit he's probably got an audience of insane leftists who actually agree with him. So it's not quite everyone, just everyone who's not already indoctrinated.
He actually, in the video, Ethan was saying he was actually sharing that, like, he was only 12 points. I don't want to, because I can't remember the quote exactly. I won't try it because it's one that needs to be accurate, that one. But he was basically saying that he supports Palestine a lot. And so I don't know where he lands on that. But in terms of your main point, yeah, 100%. Everyone knew how bad. This has been common knowledge for years at this point. Ethan would just bury his head under the sand, because the reason why I think he did the Leftovers podcast was to trigger the fans that were getting annoyed with his further woke leaning thing. And so he decided to dive all in just to trigger them even more. Like, it's called the Leftovers podcast. It was specifically branded to attract a left-leaning audience, because that's where he was going further and further, right? And then he picked the most far-left guy that was popular that he knew of, all right, to just troll the chuds. He does not like conservatives, right? And has been attacking us for ages. So Ethan is a bit of a dropkick, absolutely. Someone, me for $10, Shad, in the description. Mr. Miller's name is not capitalized. I'm sorry, Mr. Miller. I'll try and fix it later sometime. I might
in the future, but probably not.
But thank you for letting us know. Someone me. Buddy Rap $5 says Hasan is a commie, not a Muslim. He's an anti-Semite. Hasan is also Kenk Yuga's nephew. Man is left of Che Guevara. Yeah, he's a full Che Guevara. I can't pronounce it.
It's pronounced chunk yogurt.
Chunk yogurt. Yeah,
that's actually accurate. Yeah,
he is a full-blown communist and advocates for it. Yeah, constantly.
What is funny about the Che Guevara is that for some reason, a lot of Japanese creators love him a lot. Like especially like Metal Gear Solid, they love that guy, Metal Gear Solid.
That's weird.
Was it because he liked to execute homosexuals?
It might be. I don't know. He didn't like a lot of people, that Che Guevara guy.
No, he didn't. Judah for $10 says, I don't mind such evil no longer hiding. They tell us what they want and how bad they are. They are a minority we can point at to avoid, though we still must point it out and continue fighting this evil. I think I'm there with you. There are parts that I wonder about, like calls for violence. I think that's probably not a good thing. I agree that like there's good cause for laws, against that. And some of you guys have nearly called for violence. Destiny is like saying we need a genocide of conservatives. Like, holy friggin' crap, Like, that sounds like
none of this crap would be happening if they didn't allow this stuff to be taught in schools. Government funding should be cut off to any school that promotes communism, Marxism, anything that's anti-American should not be taught in American schools.
Well, here is where I do have a conflict, and I'm not saying I've come to any strong opinions on it. I believe communism is evil, like wholly evil.
A little
And
bit of
it is-
evidence those past 100 years. Yeah.
Oh, we have loads of evidence, and it leads to unbelievable death and genocide. We've seen people try it, and so I do kind of lean in the direction that I do not think objective, provable evil should be a thing that definitely not taught in schools. And how much should we tolerate that? You know, because I do like free speech. I support free speech, right? But I don't want to support people advocating for something that is
Yeah, but here's the thing:
objectively
this speech ain't free. We're paying for it, and we're paying teachers to
Oh yeah, in school,
propagandize children and young adults into being freaking communists. And if my tax dollars are going to that, that is not free speech. That is, I'm paying for that speech, and I don't want that speech being funded by my. You want to go to some like communist private school? First of all, there would never be such a thing. But go. But go ahead. Don't use my freaking tax dollars to promote anti.
If people want to live in a communist community where everyone enters into it of their own free will, go to town. You are more than welcome to. The evil in it is when they try and enforce it via the state across the board. All right.
Yeah.
That's what I mean when I say communism is evil, because the only way for it to work on a national scale is by threat of force, gun to your head, stealing people's property.
You know, it's funny. There's a kabad in Israel who actually tried those, like in the 60s or something. A bunch of these little hippie communist Jews got together, and they're like, we want to have a community where we all share everything alike. And the government of Israel is like, okay, we'll fund this little experiment. And like, so all the little hippie happy generation was fine with exchanging genes, and like no one owned anything. Anything could be used by anybody. You could go into somebody else's house and you could take their toaster and whatever it is, right? Like the entire next generation, I think like almost all of them, they're like, this sucks. Like, get out of here.
Yep.
Remember Chaz? It's like everyone's like just so much crime there. People were dying and starving,
and rape and murder.
All of these so-called educated college kids. Oh, they just like terrible society. But all these uneducated farmers, these backwards farmers. Oh, the beautiful crops.
I mean, I've heard of like, you know, communist
communist
groups getting together to work a farm, and then the farm just failing massively because they don't know how to. You know,
yeah, Jamestown. That's how this country started, was with a lesson in how socialism doesn't work. You know about that?
Well,
right?
I mean, Phil Collins, 199 says socialism is for figs.
You know about that? I'm sure LitDev does because he's American. But do you know about that?
No, not the Jamestown stuff.
Oh, the Jamestown.
It wouldn't surprise me though.
The original.
There's been multiple times communist style, you know, things have tried to be instituted, and it does not work.
Yeah, it was the Pilgrims. It was these socialist they didn't have the term socialist back then, but they wanted everyone to have shared in everything and all that stuff. And so they tried that the first year that they were here, and the Indians just kind of watched from the woods, kind of laughing at them, because when you don't have people with personal self-interest in what they're doing, but group interest, nobody really puts their best effort in. And so like a whole crap ton of them died. This is the Pilgrim story. Right, a whole bunch of them died, and then the next year that they're like, "All right, everyone's taking care of their own crap."
Here is a truth about the human condition: if people can find a way to be lazy, they will.
Yeah,
done.
You expect the community to do it.
Yeah,
community's not going to do it,
and you naturally fall into that because the path of least resistance. It's almost a state of nature, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, hard work is hard. And so if you can find a way to either avoid it or achieve the same results with less effort, you take it. Now, sometimes that can be innovative. Other times, in a lot of cases, it can just lead to laziness and not trying to achieve anything because you're just like, oh, someone else can do it. Oh my gosh. Taker 610 for $5 says, it's good your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man isn't woke or annoying. Really dodged the bullet there. Brave New World is almost here. I think it was someone involved with the creation of Spider-Man Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man said, yeah, it's not woke or annoying, but it's insanely woke. We covered Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man on Friday Night Tights, so people could look at our reactions there, because it's wow. James Castile threatening Greenland with military force. I find it interesting. Like, if America does take Greenland, that's interesting.
Well, you've I don't know if you've heard the latest on it, because again, first offer is way more, right?
Mm-hmm.
Turns out, I think it's like almost 60% of Greenlanders, they've been polled. They want to be part of the 51st state.
They've polled him, and a lot of them are happy to join America.
Yeah, and because of this and this reality, Denmark is like now willing and wanting to negotiate with America to give them land and bases and stuff. Because really, the thing is, they want to be able to control the Arctic.
Yes,
what I do know is that Greenland was like it was kind of like a state that's not really working too well on its own. That's why it had to be taken care of by Denmark. So yeah, I think at this case, Greenland and Denmark would be like, yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead and take it.
Man, at this point, I want Trump to threaten Australia with military force and take us over. Liberate us! Come and free us! I would happily accept that at this point.
I think he's just really just threatening everyone with green money. That's what it looks like.
I mean, I'm seeing just go ahead and become an imperial power. Screw
it. Monarchy is actually an effective government system when you have a righteous king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After the next few years, put Baron Trump in as king, and we're good to go for like.
How common is that? It's like, okay, every 10 generations, we might get like a King Arthur.
So I actually have some monarchist kind of sympathies.
You are Australian.
I am Australian. That's right. I'm over here in Australia, where we have this insanity going on with we've got this insane far left prime minister that literally has been trying to take away freedom of speech in Australia and online and other things like that, eroding it away. And so I'm here suffering under the boot of this totalitarian bullcrap, or I don't even have another right to defend myself properly if I'm attacked, right? And I'm watching you guys in the US just constantly winning. And I'm just like, America, take us over at this point.
Maybe after every
it's only been 2 weeks, bro.
Maybe every 100 years you might get like a King Arthur or something. But I would really prefer to dump the tea in the ocean. No, get out of here.
And look, I understand countries and governments, they go in waves, right? I know things are really good at the moment. You know, Trump doing some things, pushing back against this woke insanity. It's the official government policy now in the US that there's only 2 genders.
Yes, sir.
Right,
and the president needs to state that.
I know, right. And so, but hey, like, imagine if Kamala won. Holy crap, it would have been done. You guys would have been over.
I would have been trying to find what how expensive it is to move to El Salvador.
Right. I reckon Succession might have been on the books, like going on.
I think so too. I think
for no other reason than
it's too much.
For no other reason than facing the possibility of listening to that laugh for 4 years.
Yeah, that's enough to make you want to.
Man.
I don't know if the government could afford the bar bill if Kamala was.
It's like another truck of vodka was shipped to the White House today.
She just has it on tap.
Hey, Shorty for $20 says, "Take some money, Shad, please." Oh, I would gladly take your money and be very grateful, Shorty. Thank you.
As you wish. As you wish.
As you wish. We are Harbinger. Hey, Lindev, what about the next generation's The Drumhead?
Oh my good. That's another good one.
Which episode is that? Let me remind me what episode.
That's even more pertinent. So what happens in that one is like this crazy lady comes onto the ship and she's like high esteem from pedigree of justice and everything. And there is a conspiracy that kind of comes in. And so the drumhead is taken from the old old ritual that the soldiers would have had, like where they had these horrendous courts on the battlefield, like using the drum as like a table. It's called a drum. These like kangaroo courts that they would have had. And that's kind of where I think the drumhead is written get the speech where he goes, "I'm so cowardly that we must destroy a man for having the blood of a current enemy." I think that's where that speech comes from. The drumhead.
I can't remember this episode. I'm shocked.
I don't
It's
either.
good.
I
It's
need to go
good.
back. What the hell?
If it's the same category as false accusation, because they find out that this one officer, I think she makes up this conspiracy. We're like, oh, there's a Romulan conspiracy. I know it. And so we get this whole thing where everyone's being judged and chastised. And they do find out that one guy on the ship lied about his Vulcan heritage, and he actually has Romulan heritage. And she's like, "Aha! See, it's a conspiracy." And that's why Picard has to take the head and be like, "We become so cowardly that we must extinguish a man because he has the blood of a current enemy." Because he wasn't actually working for the Romulans. He just happened to have Romulan blood. He looked like a Vulcan, so but he wasn't a bad guy or like I don't think he was a spy or anything. But it was just like, aha! And then of course she gets taken down because they actually invite like the head of like the justice system or something like that from Starfleet justice system there. But it was like it's all about crazy courts being falsely accused with fake evidence and stuff.
No, he was like Elizabeth Warren claiming
I need to look that one up. Hey,
looked like her too.
James, I appreciate. James Castillo says, just to be clear, Shad, I think you're a cool dude. Bought your book and everything. Nothing wrong with civil disobedience. 100% agree. And look, I'm glad you're here, James. I will get triggered when you call me, saying I have faux moral outrage. But context understood now. And yeah, like perfectly fine to disagree. I'm actually quite happy that people on the left do watch our content. There's not heaps of them, but they're in the comments, and I appreciate you guys. So thank you, James, and thank you for the super chat as well.
Hey, did you see the clip of the RFK confirmation where what's her face? Well, it's just Elizabeth Warren is just totally freaking spazzing out at RFK because he's like, "You're telling me you don't want me to sue the vaccine companies?"
No, I haven't seen. I saw him call out Bernie Sanders, and then Bernie tried to really move past
That's not
that.
what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about.
He calls out Bernie for accepting however much $1 million or something.
Yeah.
So there's been some fun stuff, that's popped of it.
Best confirmation hearings ever.
Shorty for $1.99 again. Take more money, Shad. Shorty, I will gladly take more money. I mean, if
As
you
you
insist.
wish.
Don't twist my arm, Shorty, but I think I can manage that.
It's a tough one, but I think you can get that one done. I can make it through it, Chad.
Yes. Phil Collins 499 says, all these pro-communists want to live it. I bet China would welcome them. Well, yeah. China's social credit score. I'm sure he'll love living under that.
Yeah, but China's probably pretty racist, so they probably don't want you foreigners in there.
People don't understand how bad China actually is. Like I've talked with guys that have gone over there. These are Australians that have gone over there and lived in China for a couple of years teaching English and stuff, and has come back and shared stories with me. And some of his stories are just full on horrific. Like, he shared there were people in the village who started to protest a bit against their government. They disappeared and we never saw them again.
Yeah,
type of stuff. People do not understand how evil the Chinese Communist government is. Because they are such a massive trading partner and everything like that, I think people give China way too much of a free pass for how oppressive that government. It's crazy.
You would think a government led by Winnie the Pooh would be a little nicer.
You'd think that, wouldn't you?
Quandale has a very good point. He's accurate.
Shorty for 199 says, "Here is more money." Oh, Shorty will gladly
That's
take
also
it.
a good point. I think that's a good point, Shorty.
What comment were you?
Quandale Dingle.
Quandale Dingle. China's not communist though. They're very firmly in the fascist camp at this point, which is still an indictment of the Mao era communists marked by purges and mass starvation due to mismanagement. Yeah, because China is practicing, some measure of
economic policy.
Yeah,
they allow for private business, but they control private business.
Yes, yeah,
that's the same thing that Hitler did and that Mussolini did, and that is it's like the flip side of the coin to crony capitalism, right? We just have this soft fascism here where we allow our corporations to dictate the laws that make them the monopolies.
Yeah. Do we have Wolfsbane for $2 says, tragedy of the commons, more people, less work done. I think that's
oh gosh dang. I couldn't understand that drawing.
Yeah, I'm having trouble.
She's looking to the right. It's a hood. She's
Oh,
looking
it's
to the right.
I see. Okay, yeah, it just clicked. Thank you, Wolfsbane. Nathan Cassidy 499 says if people have an opportunity to be lazy, they will take it. An additional corporate America, a tradition corporate America continues with pride, not the rainbow kind. Yeah, and sometimes, look, I do get worried about how easy and comfortable modern life becomes. It does make us pretty soft and docile, where we then become entitled to all these luxuries. When holy crap, it's studying medieval period really opened up my eyes how lucky we have it. Like the difficulty it took to just friggin' cook bread in their old school ovens. They would have to load it up with wood, set the fire burned for several hours so it would heat either the rocks or bricks that the oven was in, and then they would use the radiant heat because they could regulate that better to then cook, and they'd have to pull all their coals out, hours of work just to get to the right friggin' temperature, and then put the bread in. We achieved that like turning a knob.
You didn't even get to the part where you have to crack the wheat and do everything to make the actual dough.
Right? Like, we are.
Never mind, they had to farm it themselves.
We are so spoiled. We do not comprehend how easy and luxurious our lives are. Do you know we have like consistent, regular light in our homes that we can have at any time, and we can have all the way to with just flicking a switch. That's phenomenal.
That was a discussion
in America. I hear Australia is just not as trustworthy.
That was a discussion in the movie Taken. We're trying to torture a guy with electricity. He's like, we had to outsource stuff in a third world country, but over here in a first world country, you flip on the light switch. I can electrocute you all day. That was Taken. Taken.
The ease in which we can wash our clothes. Do you know how hard it was to like really wash clothes? They had washing paddles. They would beat their clothes with a stick with these washing boards. Like turning a knob, right? The nutrition and variety and accessibility of food we have is better, like to 100 times more than the kings of the past. It is unbelievable. The poor people of the modern day are living with more privilege and luxury than the kings of the past.
Poor people
I'm talking about
in Western culture.
First world countries. Yeah. They live with more luxuries and privilege than the kings of the past in terms of what? Access to healthcare, access to information education, ease and convenience of your utilities and things like that, the variety of food, and the access to information side of things is bonkers, right? We have never lived at any time on earth like right now, where you can learn anything you want for free. Essentially, like all you need is access to the internet. The modern day is a world of unfathomable miracles that too many people do not appreciate or comprehend. In fact, they get entitled to it and they say, "Oh, having a phone and not having to work, it's a human right. I deserve to someone else
my
to
Obama phone."
Right. And it's insane, the entitlement. And when you look at the past, the amount of work, it's just like it friggin' just astounds.
There's still places in this world where
it's rough. Yeah,
someone's
I'm talking about
entire job is to walk miles and miles every day just to get dirty water for their family.
Oh yeah. I'm talking about the privileges we have in first world countries.
I've actually thought about doing what is that, like the Prince and the Pauper story, but with time travel, where the kid goes the kid becomes like a destitute poor kid in modern America, and he's the prince, and he's like, I'm not going back.
I'm not going back.
Screw being a king in medieval Europe.
I love that idea. I love that idea, Mike. Like I often daydream of what a medieval person would how they'd react in the modern day. You take them to a modern day supermarket, and I think they would just fall over. They're just like, what is this?
I can have all. I can buy any of this stuff.
So much food
it's a available heaven over here.
And then, let alone the entertainment. And look what we're doing now. We are having a friendly conversation where we are literally on the other side of the world. We are participating in a miracle right now, and it is just amazing. Like we are so lucky in the modern day. We don't understand it.
Could you imagine like a medieval guy going like, "Oh, you can tell me you have all this red meat here that you can buy and eat, but you choose to eat this soy crap? What are you, some sort of demon? What is this?"
Oh, then actually, there's another side. Like, I think
This is where I feed my cow.
I think
Well, think of the toilet, dude. Even
the toilets,
you had to poop in
yes.
a cold bedpan if you were a prince in
Yep.
14th century.
Dude, a hot shower
Right?
is such a luxury that even kings of the past didn't get. Like you could have warm water in your house with the turning of knobs and just have it spray and you can clean your like. We do not understand how lucky we are.
We get like fresh. Imagine, you know this more than anybody. Imagine like being in Europe in 14th century and you can have pineapple and papaya and bananas and like what were you limited to there? Apples?
Well,
and pears?
I have looked into it. The variety of food in the Metal Period. The variety of food in the Metal Period was actually quite diverse, but they were very seasonal dependent. Right. But they did flavor their food, but they didn't have nearly the variety we have today. Not even close, right?
Yeah, just the fact that we're not regulated by seasonal stuff because we import stuff from the other side of the hemisphere. We want winter fruits in the middle of summer. Here they come, you know?
Yeah, it is crazy. I genuinely think if a person from the past came to our modern day, they would think we are living in heaven, a utopia, and then they would wonder, why are you guys so dissatisfied and upset? Why are you so angry all the time? This is paradise.
People have more than us.
Yeah, right. They would unironically think we're living in a paradise, and then they would look at all this dissatisfied, like people complaining and all that stuff, and they're just like, if we could honestly just appreciate the blessings that most of us have in our lives, we would be so much more happier.
Could you imagine if he asked though, like, why art thou so miserable in this paradise? And you're like, well, this guy on Twitter disagreed with me on like, well, what did he disagree with you on? You see, I want to chop kids' dicks off, and he's like, I don't want to do that,
dude. That's the other like, I think they would come to the modern day and then see some of our modern kind of things and think we are vile, evil, hedonistic. If they heard about abortion, they would think like, okay, yeah, this is a paradise, but there is the devil around here. There is some evil. They would, they're just like, what do you murder your unborn children? Like, they would think that is one of the greatest evils you could comprehend.
Wouldn't the like the medieval guy be like, oh, well, what do you mean? Kind of what disagreements are you talking about? Like when I disagreed with my neighbor, I killed him or something. I got in a duel with him.
Yeah, right.
What are you doing? Why are you so miserable? I was like, that was so crazy to see. Learn the reasons why a lot of people are miserable today from a medieval perspective, kind of guy. Like, what? Why are you so sad? Well, I have to work.
Oh yeah, or like there's this thing. There's a thing called the patriarchy, which is oppressing me, and I was like, what do you mean? It's just, yeah, I know, right? Look, that got me on a friggin' soapbox tirade, but that's a strong one for me because I get really annoyed with entitlement and ingratitude, especially when people just do not see how lucky we are. Oh, man. So thank you for the super chat that kicked us off on that.
You know, speaking of this man out of time thing, I just finished watching Tulsa King.
Oh, I haven't seen season 2. Season 1 I enjoyed. I need to finish season 2.
Yeah, it was good because I after you guys convinced me to watch Landman.
You liked it?
Yeah, it was good. But Tulsa King was more interesting about the man out of time because he's been in prison for 25 years back when the world was slightly more sane, and then he comes out and he's like, what the hell is all this?
It is an actual issue that a lot of people who are in prison face a lot, where they come out of prison and everything's, even if it's not 25 years, even if it's like 2 or 3 years, they come out and like everything's changed, and that's why like they prefer to go back to prison sometimes.
See, no. Think about the last 5 years. AI has already reshaped our world, right? And it's gonna do more. Like, and it's actually such a new technology. It's crazy.
Dude, my mom was trying to show me this video on YouTube of Barron Trump playing the piano, and I look at him like, Mom, it's AI. What's AI? Like, it's not real. She goes, no.
This is like approaching Star Trek technology, where you can ask the computer about something complex, and you could just
the
have direct
holodeck. Like we're almost there on the holodeck kind of thing. Yeah,
it's not that far away. Like the amount of stuff that large language models can do is actually just insane. It is insane. And we're scratching the surface of this. This like, well, I was saying, right, when AI was just starting to kind of catch on, I literally said, we are like in the process of watching something, being discovered. That's almost like the equivalent of discovering warp drive. It is such a world-changing technology, and we are seeing it happen before our eyes.
It'd be crazy if we do ever manage to discover a warp drive. It'd be so crazy if that's the point where aliens like, oh, hey guys, okay, you finally reached a certain level of technology you need to join the Great Alliance. That'd be pretty insane. And then we will start sending the money from America.
Phil Collins 199 said, Shad, at least you're not British. I kind of am.
I'm like a British.
Yeah.
By proxy.
I'm British adjacent. I've strong British heritage, part of the Commonwealth. And look, like, I think the British government has gone completely insane. But in terms of British heritage and culture, I really love. I identify. I think the world owes what Britain did. Like, holy crap!
There's no England now.
But no, like, everyone in the world should be thanking God that Britain won the kind of race to empire. Because what did you want? Do you think you would have wanted Russia to have won the colonization efforts to build the world spanning empire? Do you think you would want Italy or Japan or like the country that won was the country that unironically gave up slavery willingly? We are so damn lucky that so many of our countries are founded on British common law.
Well, I do prefer beer than vodka. I do like my beer.
Common law. I've looked into common law. It is an unironically genius system of governance and law. And I actually think we've lost our ways a bit too much, where true common law principles, where the people basically, common law, the actual foundation of it is actually based on God's law, the commandments, right? And to establish guilt or innocence is by a jury of your peers that will come together and judge you based on what the higher morality is. And based on that precedent of the law of just rational people based on the commandments of God coming to decisions about conflicts, creates law and precedent that people will then be judged by in the past. That's actually the foundation of common law. And it is genuinely a divine inspired system, right? And it is the foundation of most of the freedoms in the world. It's what has led to, constitutional, stuff, everything. Like common law is actually amazing when you really dig into it and the foundation of it. A lot of it's getting subverted in the modern day with larger government, because common law, the principle is that laws are created through the common people, through court proceedings. That's kind of the foundation of common law, where that's getting subverted, where governments are now making laws and forcing them on the people. Where common law comes from the people, the opposite is kind of happening. Australia is a really interesting case because it is still in practice quite a bit, and certain precedents in common law, the Supreme Court here in Australia will uphold and allow them to supersede laws by the Parliament. And that's really significant when stuff like that happens. So common law is still in some ways pretty strong in certain countries, but it needs to go through a really lengthy process as well. Anyway, I really, that's my preamble that you're setting up. Is like, we owe Britain a hell of a lot because they basically developed it all, common law. if not for that, holy crap, if one of these other countries, like imagine if Japan or Italy, fascist Mussolini Italy, what they become, right? If they won, the colonialist expansions, right? Holy
Japan
crap.
did a lot of winning for a long time. They.
So no, we owe Britain so friggin' much, and that's why I'm very happy as an Australian to actually. I still identify as part British. I really respect and am grateful for what they did in helping civilize and make the world a better place. Right, with the freedoms that I have in Australia are because of Britain. And I'm very grateful. And my heart breaks with what's happening in that country. Like, really, it is horrifying.
Yeah, I was watching Nigel Farage video like today, and he was saying that like 2.5 million immigrants have come in just in the last 2 years, and it's like, how many people are even in the UK? It's like a state in America.
Dude,
are we gonna put 2.5 million?
I was over there just a year or two ago, and I could not believe how congested and claustrophobic and how overpopulated it was. I would go I met with Carl Benjamin, and I got to go on Lotus Eaters, and I hung out with him, and he walked me through Swindon, and it is insane what has happened to his communities and stuff like that. They have no room. They already had no room before they imported all these people, so much so that the streets you can barely fit a car down. Like, it is one of the most overpopulated places in the world, and the fact they're importing so many more people is insane to me. And by the way,
that's too much.
I had some illusions that, because I love Britain and everything, that maybe, is there a future that I'd ever like to live in Britain after visiting there? Never in 100 years. Australia is so beautiful and amazing. I hate our government, but our country is incredible. And just like one of the contrasts, we have so much room and space in Australia. Like it is such a vast country with such a small population. It's amazing. It's just the roads.
Hey, can I ask you a question real quick? Did they ever come down on whether Australia is a continent or an island?
It's both. It's actually both. It's the largest island, one of the smallest continents.
They should just pick one or the other. This has been confusing me my entire life.
But genuinely, the amount that small country towns in Britain were packed together so tight was equivalent to some of the most congested residential places of our main cities. That's the only comparison I could make. And even then, they were probably more compacted. Those are the country cities. The country places here in Australia, we've got these wide sidewalks, wide road space, just room, a sense of just like openness.
Well, you've got fewer people on your continent island than California has.
Yeah. Like we have so much land that is actually criminal how much land costs here in Australia. We have so much land available. It should be nearly for free.
Well, I bet you if you go out into the middle area, it's probably nearly free.
But even in good places like Victoria and stuff like that, we have these insanely vast government forests, right? State forests that the government has claimed ownership of, locked away, and restrict anyone having access to. And then they might rezone things occasionally, doling out little crumbs here and there for people to develop and build houses on. And that's how they artificially keep
the federal government
scarcity. And state governments. And that's how they artificially creates forced scarcity to keep property prices so high. And it just makes getting a house in Australia, it's better than Britain. I saw the property prices in Britain. I nearly fell over, but it's still criminally too high for the amount of land we have in this country. It is actually insane. But because a lot of people in government, a lot of they benefit out of property prices just going up. And by the way, I've benefited off it. I don't like the game, but the game exists. So sometimes you have to play the game. And property investment has been really good for me.
Buying my first here. I mean, I think I'm on, I don't even know, but I'm sure it's less than a quarter of an acre. And my property's, according to Zillow, like 800 grand for a quarter acre. It's
it's like, I mean, it's good when you can manage getting it, but even me as a property owner, it should not be as valuable as it is. Not with the amount of land that we have everywhere in Australia. Like, even near, like we have state forests just close by, which are vast, so huge. Like Victoria is a mostly unsettled, uncultivated state. It's one of the greenest states, right? And most of it is state forests. It's insane. And so as much as room and space we have over here, we've got issues.
Well, they're trying to save the koala.
you could remove half of the state forests in Australia and still have a very massively vibrant ecosystem here. And but you wouldn't even 10%, right, would like probably double the amount of available property in Australia.
Yeah, and then everybody's prices would come crashing down. So, I mean, that is the problem with government-controlled markets, though.
That is a problem with it. And I am a property owner, and the fact that I can kind of see a much greater good that like so many Australians can't get a house. It's almost impossible. And one of the problems is the price of land. Okay. Like the government, they could just like free up so much land and just make it available on the cheap. Yeah, that would tank my own property values. I would take that hit. Okay. But look, I can't speak for others because others will, they're stuck into these really high mortgages and things. And so perhaps I'm speaking a bit too much from a place of privilege there, but I genuinely think it would help out a lot of people. There are far more people in Australia that can't get a house than people that own a house or own land. And I feel for them, because isn't that the dream? Owning your own house, getting that security and stable life, right? That's another super chat that set me off on a tangent. Appreciate you, Bill Collins. As attack from behind for 20 Canadian, one of the best Stargate SG-1 when Tilk was on trial. Man, I love SG-1, but it's been too long. I can't remember too many specific episodes, but I love SG-1. I can't remember that specific one, though, but SG-1 is the best. Thank you for the super chat. Jack Ray for $2 says, matriculations. Hell yes. Hell yes, sir. Buddy Rabbit for $5 says, so now that the historic content is behind a paywall, can I get my history of serrated blades video? Possibly, actually. So the way that you can request content as a supporter on Shadiversity is in the exclusive content, ask for the content, and then we'll encourage people to upvote the ones that they want most. And then, yeah, we will look at the stuff that the community is requesting most and make it directly for them, because stuff like that for so long has been unviable. So many videos have been unviable to produce on Shadiversity because we know the money we spend producing it will never be recovered because YouTube is burying them. Serrated sword videos exactly like that. And so very possibly, buddy, right? Very possibly. So request it in the exclusive videos, and we're going to look at what most people want. And also sometimes we might just like that. Just doesn't sound like too much of a difficult video. So we might just be able to add it into our filming schedule. Shorty for $1.99 is a little bit more. Thank you, Shorty. Don't twist my arm. I'll happily accept that. James Castile for $5 says, what are your thoughts on communism in a hypothetical post-scarcity society, or in one where all or a majority of labor is done by AI or automated? That is an interesting question. I don't necessarily know. Guys, do you think a post-scarcity society is even possible feasibly in the long run? I'm not sure.
No.
Because this is the thing. There's always going to be a limitation on something, primarily like human labor. Okay. And when you say like AI or robots can do all the labor for humans, humans are going to want to do things anyway. Humans are very creative, industrious people. I would want to write and create stuff even when people could get an AI to write for themselves. I think people are always going to value.
I mean, there is a movie that gets us very accurately. It's called WALL-E. That is how humanity would go if you lived in that kind of a society.
And yeah, I'm not sure it's the best thing for humans either. necessarily. For a true post-scarcity society, well, don't you need like really infinite resources? And I'm not sure we have that.
The invention of the replicator. If you could have anything you want at any time, and you could just sit there watching, reels. Or
then what's the point of? But see, then
Duty.
Communism couldn't exist then, because people could just get whatever they want. You don't need to share it. You don't need to share what you have. You don't need the government to take away what you have to then redistribute it, because everyone can just get whatever they want for themselves. Someone can live in a castle and someone can live in whatever they want. Communism would literally be utterly pointless in a post-scarcity.
But there would be no further innovation once we hit that point.
Seems like that as well. On top of that, and I do think that would be good for society.
There is a replicator from Star Trek, which actually does take fuel. So you do need energy to fuel it. However, there is because what it does is it takes like stuff and reorganizes it into like something new. But apparently,
it's like transporters.
Yeah, like transport technology.
This used to be poop. Enjoy your creme brulee.
Apparently, that's what they do. Yeah, exactly.
But if it rearranges it on an atomic scale, it's not poop anymore. I'll be fine with it.
It was once poop, and it's now crab or something.
Yeah.
But apparently, food from a replicator does not taste as good as freshly grown food, as noticed in DS9 with what's his name, Eddington, joined the Marquee.
Do you think that's a like a post kind of retcon thing? Because in Next Gen, like there's an episode where Deanna Troi says to the replicator she wants a real chocolate mousse, not your perfectly everything.
She wants something real, yeah.
And she only wanted it because it was unhealthy, but she kind of implied that the replicator one is 1-to-1 as good, if not better, than it. So
because I think that the replicator, as far as it is,
boring would that be
on the TNG Enterprise ship, it will give you a chocolate mousse or something, but it's going to be like within ethical standards, according to them, within like nutritional standards.
It's perfectly healthy, but it still tastes just as good. I thought
it tastes good, but she wants like a real one. I think the reality is that you can get it. And it does taste like it, but it's healthier, but it's not as good. All the nuances aren't there. I think that's kind of where the differences are.
Possibly, because maybe it's sometimes the imperfections that it can improve the dining experience,
the human parts of it.
I mean, cooking is what would happen to all the chefs?
Well, I mean, yeah, people would cook for themselves.
No, they wouldn't. They'd have replicators.
Oh, but people enjoy cooking. Those who enjoy cooking just still cook. There's in Star Trek.
They'd have to replicate all the ingredients.
Oh, I mean, Picard, he runs a vineyard and they still grow stuff. I don't know, like, if people naturally would actually go to that level of work to produce resources and grow stuff if you could just magic it out of replicated technology. That would worry me, because society would become wholly dependent on technology, and they would have forgotten how to, be self-sufficient, unless you had like armed communities.
That's why I'm not even being sarcastic about it. Wall-E is where society would go in that situation.
And I don't think that's good. I don't think that's good at all. But the thing is, caveat to that, I don't even think that's possible. I don't even think a true post-scarcity society is actually possible. I think robots will come about to probably end up doing a decent amount of labor. We're already kind of doing that in manufacturing processes. There are robots, that are taking process and part of the process in building cars and things. What I find is that the job market kind of shifts. Then you have people who need to, fix the robots and build the robots, and people are worried about artists losing their jobs.
Wouldn't a robot fix a robot better than our human could?
Well, we get there because so far it just creates a new job market that requires new skilled, labor to do.
Well, there's no job requirements in Star Trek. There's no job requirements. Captain Sisko's dad is a chef, but they have no money.
Well, see, there are some things that just don't make sense in Star Trek, because they are still a meritocratic system. You need to be very highly qualified to serve on a starship in Starfleet, right? And so can't
you replicate platinum?
It seems like you should be able to, but that seems like a limited resource, and platinum is used as a currency.
What I never understood was that they wanted copies of data, but they said they couldn't replicate them for some reason. Although they could replicate Riker, all you have to do is go back to that planet where you had that cave. Where
Yeah,
you
I know.
could replicate Riker and just replicate.
Well, technically, whatever you can transport in Star Trek, you should be able to replicate. It's founded on the same technology, is my understanding. So
I know, but they said you can't replicate.
I know that there are inconsistencies in Star Trek. But James, we appreciate your super chat. It had led us to an interesting discussion. Armor Packs of $5 says, if it was not for the evil deep state, we would be living in Star Trek right now. Not sure.
You know what they should have
done? I do
done?
agree with getting rid of the evil deep state. I agree with that.
They should have replicated a Diana for Riker. So there's 2.
Oh yeah,
you get to keep one,
right?
Well, you know, wouldn't that technically speaking like solve Leonardo DiCaprio's problem? Like every single time, like his girlfriend ages out, you can get like a replicate her.
Well, that would be a clone because you'd have to de-age right.
Le Chevalier de Lys for 2 Canadian says, same in Canada, Shad. Love the country, hate the government. Yeah, I love Australia. I genuinely do. I don't think I would want to live anywhere else. I love this country. I love the people. I love the land. I love where I live. I have one of the worst state governments in our country, in a country that is, does not give us whole amount of freedoms. But that's not to say that I can't appreciate the freedoms we have. I still am very lucky that there is freedom of religion here. And Australia is a much freer place than many places in the world. It could be better. That's for sure. Now it's funny. Like I was wondering if we'd get to some of those content nuke videos, but we've had such fun discussion going through the super chats, and we did have a very in-depth kind of, breakdown discussion of Destiny and Hasan Piker stuff. So if people are wanting, they can watch the content nukes where they do get bloody exposed, because we are out of time. This has been a while. The time goes really fast on these streams for me, man. I just have such a great time. We talk and all about the stuff. The chat is great, super chats, and then before I know it, we're out of time. Time is done.
I should make a cryptocurrency called Latinum, because that's what they're saying in the chat. Latinum can't be replicated. That's why it became valuable. So Latinum is Bitcoin.
Latinum coin.
Latinum is Bitcoin. Latinum coin.
You got to make sure that you make sure all your friends and family get the wallet, and then sell it as soon as it goes live.
And the logo is a Ferengi, right? It's like...
All right, Mike, is there anything that you want to plug as we start to?
No, I've been had some downtime, so I'm taking commissions. If anybody's interested, you can just hit me up, and I'll get you a price check on that. Other than that, I signed an NDA on something, so I can't talk about it.
Okay. Lit Dev, how you go, man?
Just working I'm working on a video now. I have a bunch of them planned up. I finally was able to finish the script I was working on, so I'm finally going full swing into video creation, and it's not completely done. I have to do some edits, but this is the one I'm going with. But of course, getting those videos out there, trying to get back into video making, and of course, there's still the morning nonsense every weekday at 8:35 a.m. Eastern.
Did you see on Shadiversity, I made a video roasting Anthony Gramuglia, like ripping him a new one. That guy went hard after you, and you did nothing to provoke it, but he decided
not really. In fact, all of his clips are like out of context. I know. It's like 2 seconds of me saying something or something. He's like, what the hell is this?
He is one of the most worst and most egregious, habitual, unashamed liars I've ever seen making content creation. It's shocking. Like, it's hard to fathom that someone can just, because he knows what he's doing, and he would just lie about it. It's I do not understand people like that.
Adam did a good job, because they actually put context to his assertions by playing more of my video where I go into the fixes and okay, what if we did this and this would improve the character arc you're going for with Star Wars or something.
I didn't even. So Sitch and Adam reacted to him as well. I should link that into my video, because the guy is so full of it. He is so full of it. So yeah, that's on Shadiversity, and man, I have been having so much fun going hard working on my book. Like last week, I had 11-hour writing session, and the week before that, 12-hour writing session straight. And after I had the 12-hour writing session, I was wondering, is that just a flash in the pan? Did I just and then the week after, 11 hours. It's like that feels so good. I have a busier week this week, so I'm not sure I'm going to have as much time to write, which because I'm like sucked in. That's my thing. I'm doing and. Guys, I'm working on my next novel. It's a new series. It's a medieval fantasy. My goal is to have it out this year. At the moment, I'm on track for it, and it's going to be a big boy. I think it looks like it's going to be like 200,000 words. That's where it's going to be landing at. Shadow the Conqueror was like between 120 and 140,000. I forget exactly. But the average fantasy novel is 100,000 words. So this is going to be like twice as big. And it is, it's so good. It's exciting stuff. But because, like I said, busy week, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is coming out like in a day or two. That is a good opportunity for Shadiversity, for swords and all that stuff.
I guess if you play that game, you can actually see if it's woke or not. I don't believe it. I don't
think it's woke. I'm gonna play. I think I'm actually gonna live stream it. I'm gonna.
That'd be a good idea because then we can see live if it's woke or not.
Right.
We'll see
I'm gonna draw the line. They turned a straight character bisexual. It's woke.
I'm not sure, and I could easily avoid that. This is like
I know, but if you started out bisexual, that's one thing. But they turned a straight character bisexual.
I don't know. I would like to ask them. I'd like to ask the
if they turned Doctor Strange bisexual out of the blue, you would say that was woke.
Thing is, though, is he? Because it seems like something's buried deep in the game. I'm certainly not.
Okay, if they turned Tony Stark, use any character. If they turned a straight character bisexual, you'd say it was woke.
If you couldn't avoid it, right? Like because this is a player choice. I'm kind of seeing it. It is consistency. It's about player choice. So, and it also depends if it's balanced out. How many does it have traditional values? Does it? I suspect that they are going to have many historical things that will really trigger woke people because they're being true to the history. I have a feeling that women are going to be depicted a historic way, and that's what if. I do not necessarily think something is woke if it has anti-woke stuff in it, right? Because it shows that they're not pandering wholly and completely. And if they're just like, if it's about player choice, stuff like that, it's like, all right, maybe I'll hear you out.
That's how they.
I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna give it a go, and I might be streaming it. I might be streaming it on Shadiversity. So
dive right into the gay stuff.
No, I don't like. I'm going to avoid that.
I've got to check out if this is really woke.
Yeah. Oh. Thanks. This has been a heap of fun. Oh, there was one last super chat actually. I just noticed. It says, Arman Pax for $2 says, Shad, have you watched the Lost Century documentary? Lost Century? No, I have not. I haven't even heard of it. I'd have to look it up. Thank you for the super chat though. And it is time to sign off. Appreciate everyone who's joined us for the Culture Crusade. And as always, stay on watch.